Hi, this is Scott Lowe with ActualTech Media, and I'm here today with the Chief Marketing Officer and VP for Product from Apstra, and we are at VMworld. Thank you for coming to our booth and joining us.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
So give us the really high-level overview of what Apstra is. What's your elevator pitch?
Apstra automates data center networking. We increase the reliability for applications and workloads in the data center. We simplify deployment and operations within the data center. And we also dramatically drive down the costs for data centers.
That sounds like things I want.
Well, I hope so.
So you mentioned before that there are 3 key things that Apstra provides to their customers. What are those things?
Yeah, so the way that we do those 3 and provide those 3 areas is really a couple of things. One is we enable intent-based networking technology. This technology that we've spent over a decade developing, has been under development for over a decade, and is a big part of the solution. Second area is the architecture. It's a distributed system architecture which spans pods, multiple pods, data centers, allows you to really expand and span across the entire system. And then the third area is a vendor agnostic overlay. And this really provides an abstraction for all the APIs or CLI that one might use, for example, to configure switches in the data center. We abstract all that and bring it into a graphical user interface.
So one might say that sounds a lot like what software-defined networking is supposed to be.
It sounds a lot like what software-defined networking was supposed to be, I would say, Scott. Now,
yeah, I hear you.
That was a bit of the dream. This really brings in things like artificial intelligence, intent-based networking. A lot of the attributes that were really part of that vision are really manifested. Some have even said that this is the next evolution of software-defined networking. And right now, we're actually at, on a level 0, level 1, level 2 stage, we're at level 2 in terms of intent-based networking and that technology.
Very good. Now, obviously people do this because they either want things to be easier, cheaper, or both.
Sometimes they want it all.
Yeah, exactly. So how, what are the results your customers are seeing from a CapEx and OpEx perspective on this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're actually seeing an 80% reduction in OpEx with customers that we're deploying with. So pretty dramatic and very compelling.
Now, on the CapEx side, you're able to reduce costs because you're allowing them to use more commodity-like type hardware.
Yeah, that's a good point, Scott. So we are not a hardware company.
Right.
And we have no allegiance to hardware devices, boxes, appliances. What we are is a pure software company, and we're on the customer side.
Right.
We operate with just about any device that's out there. So take all the different switch vendors, for example, whether they're switch vendors that are very focused on a packaged appliance, or they might be white box vendors, or even bright box vendors. We operate with those type of devices, and what we allow businesses and enterprises and data center IT to do is literally operate with a single vendor if they choose to, and roll out and scale out very quickly, or have the ability to use multiple vendors within their data center. What that enables them to do is really drive down the cost for CapEx even more, because a lot of times we see them using that ability to negotiate with their hardware vendors to get better prices.
And they can mix and match a bit easier then too.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the challenges of mixing and matching though without something like Apstra is it drives up your OpEx.
That's exactly right.
Because you're abstracting it and allowing, basically you're becoming the API layer in a lot of ways for a lot of things. And that's one of the ways you're helping drive down that OpEx by 80%.
Yeah, in fact, there's oftentimes a resistance to turn on another vendor because there's
complexity.
Exactly, and you're having to learn, maybe you need a new certificated engineer to be able to go off and deploy that new device.
Right, and now you can get in the middle of it and say, look, we're going to normalize the whole environment.
That's right.
Very good. And that's how you drive, one of the ways you drive OpEx down.
That's exactly right.
Michael, this was a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
I'll even shake your hand. And thank you for watching this video.